First of all, thanks Cameron, that was unreal. Hard to follow. So yeah, my name's David McManus. I'm the founder of Spry, and I guess I have a similar mission to Cameron, and in that I'm trying to change, I guess, the food industry and kind of flip it on its head. I think the current food industry isn't set up to benefit consumers' health. It's driven by marketers and food scientists, and dietitians and doctors don't have strong enough voices. So that's why I founded Spry, and I want to create a platform that really empowers dietitians to help people stick through clinically proven diets. So the first area that we're helping people with is people with irritable bowel syndrome. So when someone's diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, they're normally put on a low FODMAP diet. So this diet was discovered in Melbourne, Australia, which is where I'm from, by Monash University. And basically this is actually from an actual patient. They're given a list of low FODMAP foods and high FODMAP foods and a food diary, a paper handout. And if anyone knows anyone on the FODMAP diet, it's very complicated and hard to follow. So the adherence to this diet is pretty difficult, but they've done clinical studies, and I think it's 70% of people notice a significant reduction in their symptoms. So the diet works, but it's difficult. So yeah, Spry is looking to digitize the FODMAP diet through a mobile application that really supports and guides people through the process. So think of TurboTax, but for a new diet. So I'll just bring up the demo now. Yeah, so I'm currently in development. So I have a great team located in Bosnia, because I can't afford to pay a Silicon Valley developer. Currently bootstrapping. There we go. Yeah, so basically, actually, it's funny, Cameron, that you mentioned BJ Fogg. Was actually had a call with him about a year ago in Australia, and his response to me was, if you're going to expect someone to create a food diary, forget about it. And that stuck in my mind, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. So basically, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for users to stick to this diet. So what we did was we created a special challenge diet. So when a user starts the app, they'll create a profile, log in, welcome. They go through an onboarding screening. So have they been diagnosed with a digestive issue? Yes. We're only offering this irritable bowel syndrome as a starting point, but we really want to lock it down, and we're hoping to model this out to other conditions. So I actually worked with Dr. Berkeley Limket Kai at Stanford, who's a leading gastroenterologist for this onboarding process. Do you have any symptoms? So these are alarm symptoms that need to be covered off. If someone has these, then obviously they need to go to a doctor. Current condition. And sorry, not feeling well. Obviously, we're still working on everything. So basically, users will be put onto a specific challenge diet that we've developed. So we've gone through the process, and we've actually worked with Monash University, and every single food has been run through their database. So they have the largest database of FODMAP foods in the world. So we're certified by Monash University, which is pretty huge and wasn't super easy to make happen. But basically, users don't have to think about their meal plans. For me, I've been on the low FODMAP diet for 6 years, and meal planning, checking ingredients, it's a real pain in the ass. So basically, the challenge diet, they run through for 2 weeks on the elimination phase. We first check if they have any trigger foods that they know are 100% causing them issues. And then they run through the diet. So first 2 weeks, it depends on how they're feeling, but some people it might take 2 weeks, some people it might take 3 weeks. So once their symptoms are gone, then they move on to the challenge weeks. So we start reintroducing foods. And basically we've hidden all the challenge foods within the meal plan, so the user doesn't even know what the foods are. They're just making really easy food, cooking it, and then they go through. So this is the first week. So the user will go through, eat their food, and then they'll come up to a challenge week. So lactose. So they'll go through, they'll keep eating their food. We've actually partnered with Instacart, so stemming from Cameron's point about making it as easy as possible, we don't want people to have to go shopping, because shopping is a huge pain point. So user will order their food, the app's going to be free to use, and yeah, they'll get their food delivered in the mail, they'll start cooking. And basically, they'll have a dashboard where all they need to do is log their symptoms. Let us know how you're feeling throughout the process, and they'll just log it through here. We're going to have reminders and check-ins to see how they're feeling throughout the process, but basically what we're doing, whenever their symptoms come through, it's time-stamped. So we're working out when we have the triggers in there so we can figure out what's causing them issues. And the reason why that's so important is because when people start out on the low FODMAP diet, they don't re-challenge. They just go 100% low FODMAP, and high FODMAP foods are actually really good for you, like for the microbiome, so like pulses, grains, and legumes. So we want to maximize the foods that they can actually eat as quickly as possible. So at the end of the program, the challenge diet, they should know exactly what they can and can't eat. And from there, we're going to have personalize their diet. So we'll have personalized meal planning from then on. All of the meals are super easy. I work probably 80 hours a week with a startup and a full-time job. And I cook all the meals myself, prepare it on Sunday. I don't love cooking. I'm a functional eater. I Tupperware everything. And that's what we really want to get to with Spry. We want people to be functional. We want them to be the meal preps and really kind of get moving. We're also using, there'll be a chat option. We have a huge knowledge base. So I've got a dietitian from Stanford on my team who's helping me build out all of the content that we need. And it's basically going to be triggered throughout events. So as a user goes through, we're going to have these knowledge articles pop up when they need them. Yeah. Any questions?
We have time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience.
Do you have examples of recipes?
I don't in this prototype. I can, if you sign up at eatspry.com, I can send you a few. That's provide your email address. Yeah.
How many users do you have, or where are you at in terms of testing out the process?
Sure. So I built an MVP using Squarespace and Google Sheets. So I had maybe 8 or 10 users, and I was manually delivering the food. So it wasn't really a scalable option. But yeah, I've tested it out, and obviously this is happening with dietitians across the world. I'm building the platform, working with a team in Bosnia right now, so up at 6 a.m. every day and night, and launching in January. But I think I've got like 500 email addresses for the beta program, so we're kind of building on that.
Are you a consumer enterprise company?
Yes.
Consumer or enterprise?
Consumer focused, but yeah.
How do you plan on acquiring users?
Facebook groups as a starting point.
The thing that I like about what you've done is it's a pretty active user base, right? So patients with IBS are on Facebook groups, and obviously it's not a long-term pain like it is with like obesity and diabetes, where the consequences are far out, so it's very hard to change motivation. But they're very incentivized to change something in the here and now. But yeah, I think the biggest challenge always with consumer companies is just figuring out how to acquire users. And it's challenging sometimes with Facebook groups too, because advertising policies are often very restricted. The thing that I find with a lot of like these consumer digital health companies is it's very product focused, and I think it makes sense at the beginning. But you have to think about how are you going to build a sustainable business and acquire those users cheaply, right? So if you can figure out what your customer acquisition costs are going to be, in terms of you probably will have to advertise at some point to figure, educate people about Spry, and you have to do that in a cost-effective way.
For sure, still figuring all those things out.
Great. Last question.
Sure. Could you share some thoughts on how your journey was getting your process certified from Monash University? Because often certification in a health domain is a very regulated process and cumbersome. So some journey process.
Yeah, sure. So I reached out to them about a year ago, and yeah, they didn't return my call for a while, so I kept at it. But they're opening it up now, so it was actually the perfect timing. The moment when I finally got the third phone call through and I established a relationship with them was that they just released the certification program for recipes, so it was kind of perfect timing thing. But yeah, there's obviously a fee that you have to pay. But yeah, I think building a relationship with them and just keeping at them, like they probably get hundreds of people calling them all the time. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Dave.